Well, in Killzone 2 online multiplayer, we wanted to make sure that even people that couldn't go online, that only don't have a network and a connection or anything like that, could still enjoy all the different multiplayer features. So quite early on, we decided that we wanted to do bots. And what we wanted to do with these bots is that they really mimic all the human behavior, that basically what a player can do. So if a player can shoot a specific gun or have a specific badge or special ability, then the bots can do that as well. When you first start a game, you still have to learn the different, the different abilities, the different weapons, the controls, and especially our more hardcore part of our audience really wants to make sure that before they go online, they're ready to kick ass, basically. When you play a regular game with your friends and you don't have enough people to play with, or you just want to play, you have more things to shoot at, you can actually add more bots to the game as well, just to fill up the ranks. And what's cool is that these bots will automatically leave the game once other players start joining. So it's almost like temporary filler just to keep the game balanced. But when the players leave again, the bots join again. So you always have the same amount of numbers of people you want to play with, which is it's turning out quite well. And it just spices up things because, like we said, you can play as a team together, and the bots really promote that in that sense. So it just adds to the experience.
One thing that's always interesting as an AI programmer is that in multiplayer the bots are supposed to play at the same level, skill set as the players themselves. So it comes down from, on the one hand, AI techniques, and the other hand, observation of how people play the game modes and trying to see, okay, would it be cool if the bots would also do that, and if so, how can we do that? And that is, of course, process that required iterations, talking to the testers, talking to Eric, and then figuring out if we can technically make it work.
During the development of Killzone 2 multiplayer and also the bots, we tested almost weekly. You keep wanting to try out new tactics, new code, and just see how it actually played out. So we did multiple setups as well. 2 players versus bots, more players versus bots, maybe just one guy against bots, and just kept on trying to see how the AI reacted and looping back the feedback into the AI.
Yeah, so the thing we decided to extend on the strategies of the bots is that we found out when we were building on extending the previous bots we had for Killzone 1 is that one thing that looks really robotic is that they will keep trying to do the same thing over and over again, going through the same entrance even though it's heavily defended. So one of the things we decided to work on is making the path planning for the attack route adjust based on how the battle is actually playing out. So what the AI does, it is divided the whole map into sectors, and it will keep track of where there are a lot of enemies, where people are getting killed, what the distance is towards the objectives, and based on that it adapts it. One of the things that we tried to really get working was that the bots also use all the special ability, the badge abilities, in the same way that players can do them. So typically they will place turrets to defend their base, or they will repair the turrets, or they will heal you when you are wounded, and they will basically try to use all the abilities they have as part of a team to get a mission objective.
It's quite interesting because when you play against other players, they tend to be slightly more solo, by themselves, and the bots were actually such team-oriented that sometimes it's even funnier to play with bots because you get healed, you get they back you up, they place turrets where they're supposed to and not blocking walkways and stuff like that. So the bots actually, because they work as a team, they're really fun to play with.
Yeah, one of the things that is nice to see is that when you set up a defense for one of your capture and hold areas, for instance, is that you think you've placed the turrets in all the right entrance modes, and then you will see the enemies come in, and then after a while you wonder why they're not coming anymore, and then all of a sudden they drop down from a ledge in the back of your base.
What I had myself, which was quite cool, is because I like to snipe a lot, and at first it's actually quite easy to pick off these bots because you can kind of predict their routes, but suddenly again they stopped coming, and I was really thinking, why aren't they coming anymore? But they actually remember where they die a lot. So suddenly they were coming from different angles and it became a lot harder for me to snipe, and I actually had to move position to before I got killed myself. It's those little, that adds a lot to the whole bot experience.
I know the way it's programmed, but it still feels very much like they were making a plan to get around it, and that's of course what they did, but it's surprising when it actually happens.